Finally, Trump's DOJ is coming down hard on the NPC CEOs of the tech giants. Good to see this is finally happening. They are scrubbing skid marks out of their skivvies, I'll bet, because some of them are in cahoots with traitors. Some of them perhaps were even compromised the way the company secures the behavior of all of its operatives. They take them out to Epstein's Island, then video them in flagrante delicto with a child. This is how the deep state controls what their embedded politicians do. Do you really think that all of these socialists were voted in by normal people? Do you think Jimmy Joe Bob in flyover country voted for Barry Hussein Sotero Obama twice? No, he was put there by the very same Nazi scumbags that placed every one of our presidents since JFK. And they did it with the help of the news media, blowing smoke up the American asshole for over 55 years. But 2016 was different. Mainstream media and the C_A could not muster enough illegals, dead people, and rigged Soros-owned voting machines to beat the overwhelming mega majority of patriots voting for someone who was never a politician and who could not be compromised. Trump won because of us, here on social media. He won because he had pissed off patriots whose kitchen studios and cell phones got more views than multi-billion-dollar fake news channels on cable. And when the frazzled rat lost, she was scared shitless because all of the foreign enemies of this country had paid her up front for all the shit she would do for them at the expense of all of us. And do you believe that there is anyone left out there who still supports her and Trader 44? She got paid, and the sponsors want what they paid for. She apparently is a great bullshit artist putting them off because the Khazarian Mafia will 187 you in a New York heartbeat. I got news for these people. The real hammer is about to drop. 100,000 sealed federal indictments are about to be opened. The civilian courts are compromised and are not able to handle that many simultaneous arrests. The military will handle it. The trials will be held at Gitmo. The sentences for the guilty verdicts will rock the planet. Before that happens, the last bastion of libtards have to be red-pilled. Otherwise, we might have watch riots everywhere. So what is the best way to do that? Obviously, real news on social media caused the 2016 loss, so they've tried to take us all offline. That move is going to get these companies broken up and regulated and their CEOs in prison for RICO Act violations and aiding and abetting the enemy. The next thing is logically what Barry was trying to get ahead of in Berlin in May. He was spouting his yap off about fake videos and digital voice replication because he knows the HRC Huma snuff video was found on the Peter Tweeter's laptop. He knows that copies have been distributed on the dark web, and it is only a matter of time before someone figures out how to distribute it before the algorithms censor it, like they did with that fake NZ video that I tried to upload and took down my entire channel at USA Net 4 Truth. So when this video, and possibly others like it, gets seen or reported on those who will have no choice but to report it, the demon rats will call them fake. People who are stupid will believe they're fake because it will mitigate the shock of having their cognitive dissonance all of a sudden destroyed and their libtard pipe dream of a utopia full of free shit shattered. After the calls of fake that will be forensically proven to be unaltered are finished, then the death blow will fall on them and their accomplices in the mainstream media. Cellulose 8mm home video camera film from the 1960s will surface. How the physic do you Photoshop or fake movie camera film that is 50 to 60 years old and brittle with age? I am here to tell you that if that happens, these scumbags will beg for their long-deserved tropical excursions. As for the tech giant censorship, it is the beginning of the end for them. It is finally the victory of patriots over pansies. It is good that this happened before the 2020 election, as it will ensure a Trump victory in a landslide that will be unprecedented in U.S. history. Lisa Haven, one of my favorite no-nonsense journalists, has put it out there in much the same way I would have done. So as not to reinvent the wheel, I include parts of her video here. The link is in the description section. Please subscribe to her channel. She is absolutely awesome.
President Trump has declared war, and big tech organizations and social media giants should be very, very afraid. You see, the U.S. government, via the Department of Justice, is planning on crawling all over Google to figure out if they're an abusive monopoly. They are launching an antitrust probe against the organization. So just what is this antitrust probe that has been launched against Google? Check out this article on fastcompany.com. Google could be targeted in the first antitrust probe of big tech under President Trump. Fortune.com, a new Google antitrust probe, could spell trouble for its auto domination plans. And ZeroHedge.com, Trump declares war on Silicon Valley. DOJ launches Google anti-monopoly probe. Now, the article goes on to state that the Wall Street Journal dropped a bombshell of a story. The paper reported that the DOJ has opened an antitrust investigation of Alphabet Incorporated, which could present a major new layer of regulatory scrutiny for the search giant, according to the people familiar with the matter. The report was sourced to, quote, people familiar with the matter, end quote, but was swiftly collaborated by the New York Times, Bloomberg, and others. For months, the FTC has appeared to be gearing up for a showdown with big tech, the agency which shares antitrust authority with the DOJ. And it has created a new commission that could help undo big tech tie-ups like Facebook's acquisition of Instagram, and hired lawyers who have advanced new anti-monopoly theories that would help justify the breakup of companies like Amazon. But as it turns out, the Trump administration's first salvo against big tech didn't come from the FTC. Instead, this responsibility has been delegated to the DOJ, which has reportedly been tasked with supervising the investigation into Google. Finally, the President of the United States is making headway against big tech organizations like Google, who 100% have a monopoly on pretty much everything. When anybody goes to the internet, they're usually on a Google search engine. And as many of you know, Google determines what does and doesn't go on the feed. As a quick reminder, let me show you this screenshot. On this screenshot, you're going to see Google on one side and then DuckDuckGo search engine on the other side. If I plug in the words climate change is a hoax, well, you'll notice on Google that most of the feed that comes up is climate change is real, stuff that supports climate change. However, on DuckDuckGo, I actually got what I searched for the most part. Bottom line, Google is the search engine that's downloaded automatically on everybody's computer, be it a work computer or your home computer. You have to actually physically get away from Google and go to other websites or other search engines and download those on your computer to get an alternative view. Bottom line, Google is basically dominating everything on the internet. They are 100% a monopoly. So the good news is that the DOJ is finally going after them. They have been stealing our private information for a number of years. Want to know something else? Not only is the DOJ launching an antitrust probe against Google, but the White House is also looking up alternatives. Take a look at this article on Politico.com. Amid censorship fears, the Trump campaign is checking out alternative social networks. Why is Trump looking into that? Because he knows that conservatives, patriots, gun owners, and his own supporters are being censored into oblivion. We also know that just a couple of weeks ago, the White House asked for everybody's input on how they are getting censored. Check this out. This is the actual website in which people could report any censorship against them. Now it has unfortunately been closed to the public, but as a result of that, thousands of people reported their censorship. You see, the bottom line is we have allowed Google and Facebook and all these big tech organizations too much power. We handed it over on a silver platter. And now they're running around acting godlike, acting as if they dominate the entire political spectrum. They're only giving you a one-sided story, telling you we're going to call everything a conspiracy theory and push it down the feed because it's not worth reading. They're dictating what you can and can't see. That is the very restriction that is being forced upon each and every single American. And it's gone on for far too long, especially when they start censoring your side. And keep in mind, one day the tables could turn and they could be doing it to the left. And if it was happening to the left, I would still stand here and speak against it because I believe ultimately in the freedom of speech, and it's getting ripped out of our fingertips each and every single day. You see, organizations such as Apple and Google, who have these major monopolies, are even working with the communist Chinese, the Chinese government who censors their people into oblivion, the Chinese government who puts Muslims and Christians into re-education camps, and even the Falun Gong religion. These are the kind of people that Google is working with rather than with their own country. I say, time to break it up. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please leave them in the description box below. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.
And I agree 100% with Lisa Haven, because if they were doing this to the left, I would also be standing up in protest against it. Because when the left speaks, they make idiots out of themselves, and they show themselves for who they really are. So let everybody speak, and let the public pick the fly shit out of Pepper if they have to. But censorship should not happen in this country, and it should not be practiced by any company who does business in the United States. This is an outrage, and it is going to be handled, hopefully in its entirety, by the 2020 election. Trump's DOJ is going to find out what we, the creators on these social media platforms, already know. These people are censoring our speech, and by censoring the creators' right to speak, they violate the First Amendment rights of everybody who wants to listen, or who would normally have this content available to them. People who are not credible usually do not last long on social media. I've been doing this since November 15th of 2016. They took my entire channel down, thousands and thousands of hours of work over 3.5 years, for no reason whatsoever. They can't specify why they took your channel down. They just use keywords. They figure out that you're a conservative. They figure out that you support Trump, and they harass you. They shadow ban you. They demonetize your channel. And if you don't go away, they'll just delete all of your work. That's Nazi. That's Gestapo. That's right out of the pages of Mein Kampf. And if we're going to have this country for any length of time past Donald Trump's second term, we better get on this shit right now. This is Dave from Net4 Truth USA, Whirlwind, Revolt. Thank you for listening, and if you can, please support this channel, because we are not monetized. Don't plan to monetize this channel. I'm done with all these. They already owe me almost $5,000 that they haven't paid me, and they've created all sorts of financial problems for me by doing what they did. So I want to create nothing but problems for them. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our backup channels, Whirlwind Revolt, Inglorious Patriots, and Net4 Truth USA 2 Patriot channel. You can also find us at Net4 Truth USA on BitChute. We fly so close to the target, we're on our 4th fighter jet. We will be relentless truth seekers until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/net4truth USA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.